as a network is a considered environmental elements, physical, abiotic, environmental elements, physical, abiotic, non-material, biological, biotic element, flora and fauna, environmental biology. Ecology is the study of biosphere. Ecology is the study of biosphere is called environmental biology. It is also known as environmental biology. Ecology is the study of biosphere is called environmental biology to prevent other crisis. Subsequently, pollution and biodiversity loss and climate change. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Environment. Environment के two elements are first is physical, abiotic, biological, biotic और living, which is flora and fauna. Ecology. Ecology को हम कहते हैं environmental biology. Ecology is also known as environmental biology. It is the study of biosphere. Ecology is the study of biosphere to prevent planetary crisis. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change to prevent planetary crisis consists of pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Mention and making peace with nature report 2021. Triple planetary crisis zone. Intervention and making peace with nature. Making peace with nature report. Making peace with nature report 2021. The reported at the United Nations Organization. Mention and making peace with nature report 2021. Triple planetary crisis. Mention and making peace with nature report 2021. Triple planetary crisis. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Mention and making peace with nature report 2021. Books like Making Peace with Nature report, Making Peace with Nature report 2021, Making Peace with Nature report 2021, planetary crisis, mentioning the pollution, biodiversity loss and climate change. Books like Rachel Carson, Silent Springs at the Background for an Environment Movement. Books like Rachel Carson, Silent Springs. Books like Rachel Carson, Silent Spring 1962 set the background for an environmental movement. Books like the Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, which was written in 1962. Books like Rachel Carson's Silent Spring 1962 set the background for an environmental movement. Books like Rachel Carson's Silent Spring 1962 set the background for an environmental movement. Set the background. It set the movement for. Books like Rachel Carson's Silent Spring 1962 set the background for an environmental movement. Conference on Human Environment in 1972. UN Conference on Human Environment. UN Conference on Human Environment in 1972 held in Stockholm. It was held in Stockholm as the first international initiative to discuss environmental problems. And this conference it was decided every year 5th of June. In this conference it was decided that every year 5th of June it was celebrated as World Environment Day. Every year 5th of June it was celebrated as World Environment Day. Books like Rachel Carson's Silence from 1992 set the background for an environmental movement. Books like Rachel Carson's Silence from 1962 set the background for an environmental movement. The UN Conference on Human Environment in 1972 held in Stockholm. It was the first international initiative to discuss environmental problems. This conference was celebrated in the 5th of June. It was celebrated as World Environment Day. In 1973, the world first Environment Day was celebrated. 1973 सबसे पहला जो हमारा वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे था फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे was celebrated in 1983. The UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1983. In 1983, the UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1983. The UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1983. The UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development. World Commission on Environment and Development 1983. The UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development WCED with Gro Harlem Brundtland as the chairperson. In 1983, the UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development. World Commission on Environment and Development with Gro Harlem Brundtland as the chairperson. सबसे पहले Rachel Carson ने Silence from 1962 में लिखी थी. Then the UN Conference on Human Environment in 1972 held in Stockholm. The UN Conference on Human Environment in 1972 held in Stockholm. In 1983, the UN set up the World Commission on Environment and Development WCED with Gro Harlem Brundtland as the chairperson. With Gro Harlem Brundtland as the chairperson. The WCED report of a common future emphasizing different integration of economic, and ecological system, the ecological system, the Convention support for concept of sustainable development. It's both the WCD report, its named as Our Common Future, its report, WCD report, named as Our Common Future, the WCD report, named as Our Common Future, emphasizes need for an integration of economic and ecological system. The Commission supported the concept of sustainable development. The WCD defined sustainable development as sustainable development means a mutual causing without compromising the ability of nature condition to maintain only. So lithosphere, that is land cover, approximately 29% except 1.20% of total area of the earth. The lithosphere, that is the land. The lithosphere, that is the land covers approximately 29% except 1.20% of total area of the earth. The lithosphere covers approximately 29% of the total area. lithosphere जो है यानी कि लैंड पार्ट है, इट कवर्स एक्सेप्ट 29.22%. lithosphere covers approximately 29% except 29.22% of total area of the earth. lithosphere is equals to crust plus uppermost mantle. lithosphere is equals to crust plus uppermost mantle. lithosphere is equals to crust plus uppermost mantle. Structure of Earth's interior: crust, mantle and core. Crust, mantle and core. Crust 1% of Earth's volume. Crust is 1% of Earth's volume. Mantle is 84% of Earth's volume and core is 15% of Earth's volume. 1%, 84% and 15%. Crust is 1% of Earth's volume. Mantle is 84% and core is 15%. Extends between 30 to 100 km. It extends between 30 to 100 km. It extends 2900 km and it extends 6400 km. 30 to 100 km, 2900 km and 6400 km. 30 to 100, 2900 and 6400. 2900 and then 6400. Crust is thicker in the continents and on the ocean floor. Crust is thicker in the continents. So crust is thicker in the continents. It is thicker in the continents and on the ocean floors. Crustal layer is of lighter density. Whenever crustal layer is lighter density as compared to the interior layers. Crustal layer is of lighter density as compared to the interior layers. The thinnest of all the layers, ये जो crustal layer है ये lighter है. It is of lighter density. Thinnest of it is thinnest of all the layers. Silica plus aluminum is equals to CR layer बनती है. जो crust है, crust is formed of CR layer. Crust is formed of CR layer. Mantle is of CMA layer. CMA, that is silicon magnesium. Core is of knife. CR is knife. Mantle 84%, 0.9 km. Silica plus magnesium core 15%, 60 km consisting of basically plastic sheet. High temperature impression, nickel plus iron, 9, it accounts for Earth's magnetism. And it also accounts for Earth's magnetism. Hydrosphere covers 71%. 29.22%. Hydrosphere covers 71%, that is 70.78%. 70.78% hydrosphere covers. Hydrosphere covers 70.78%. English word testicular. English word testicular. Not a top ribbon. English word testicular. Testicular. He given the code whatever everywhere and what is on the top ribbon and what are drop ribbon. Testicular. Next is ice sheets, ocean. Okay. ये descending order में water दिया गया है. सबसे ज़्यादा oceans में 97.3%, ice sheet and caps 2%, oceans 97.3%, and ice sheet caps and groundwater less than 1%, 0.6, and then freshwater lakes and inland sea and salt lakes, atmosphere and then rivers. सबसे पहले आया oceans and ice sheet caps. Oceans and ice sheets and caps. Oceans हो गया, ice sheets and caps हो गया. Oceans and ice sheets and caps. Oceans हो गए, oceans and ice sheets and caps. Groundwater, freshwater lakes. Oceans हो गए, ice sheet caps हो गए, then groundwater, freshwater lakes. Inland seas and salt lakes, then atmosphere, then rivers. Ocean, ice sheet caps, groundwater. Ocean, ice sheet caps, then groundwater. Freshwater lakes, inland sea and salt lakes, atmosphere, and then rivers. Freshwater lakes, inland sea, salt lakes, atmosphere, rivers. Atmosphere and the rivers of the 0.0001%. इसमें freshwater होता है. Direct source of freshwater rain, indirect source is underground water. अगर हम direct source of freshwater की बात करें, direct source of freshwater, that is rainwater. Direct source of freshwater is rain. Direct source of freshwater is rain. और अगर indirect source की बात करें, that is underground water. Drinking water is equal to water. Study of lower layers of atmosphere. Study of lower layers of atmosphere, it is known as meteorology. Study of lower layers of atmosphere is known as meteorology. Study of lower layers of atmosphere is known by the name of meteorology. Study of lower layers of atmosphere is known by the name of meteorology. Study of upper layers of atmosphere is known as meteorology. अगर lower layers का हम study करते हैं, lower layers then it is known as meteorology. And if we study about the upper layers, then it is known as aerology. Then it is known as aerology. If we study of lower layer of atmosphere, then it is meteorology. And if we study about the upper layer of atmosphere, that is aerology. Nitrogen 78%, oxygen 41%, argon 0.9%, CO2 0.03, hydrogen 0.01, helium 0.005, ozone and then water vapor, nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, nitrogen 78%, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, argon 0.9%, CO2 0.03%, nitrogen 0.09%, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, argon 0.9%, CO2 0.03%, nitrogen 0.09%, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, argon 0.9%, CO2 0.03%. Then carbon dioxide उसके बाद आएगा हाइड्रोजन 0.01%, हाइड्रोजन हीलियम ओजोन एंड वाटर, हाइड्रोजन हीलियम ओजोन एंड वाटर, हाइड्रोजन हीलियम ओजोन एंड वाटर वेपर, हाइड्रोजन हीलियम ओजोन एंड वाटर वेपर. Water vapor may not exceed 3 to 4% of the total volume. May not exceed, ये exceed नहीं करता 3 to 4% of the total volume of air. Water vapor may not exceed 3 to 4% of total volume of air. Water vapor may not exceed 3 to 4% of the total volume of air at any given place. Structure of atmosphere, the density of the atmosphere decreases with height. The density of the atmosphere decreases with height. जो density होती है वो decrease करती है with height. Density of the atmosphere decreases with height. Density decrease होती है with height. Density of the atmosphere decreases with height. So troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Troposphere 8 to 18 kilometer, 8 kilometer poles पे होती है, 8 kilometer poles में 18 kilometer equator. Stratosphere 50 kilometer, mesosphere 80 kilometer, thermosphere 513 kilometer, exosphere 10,000 kilometer. 8 to 18 kilometer, 50 kilometer, 80 kilometer, 513 kilometer, 10,000 kilometer. Then comes the troposphere. Tropos is equals to rotating or changing. Tropos means rotating or changing, also known as turbosphere or convectosphere. Troposphere is also known as turbosphere or convectosphere. It means rotating or changing. It means continuously rotating or changing. Troposphere is equals to rotating or changing, also known as turbosphere or convectosphere. Tropos is equals to rotating or changing. It is also known by the name of troposphere or convectosphere. In this layer, the temperature of air decreases with height at an average of 1 degree Celsius for 165 meter. In this layer, the temperature of air decreases with height. In this layer, the temperature of air जो है that decreases with height at an average of 1 degree Celsius for 165 meter. 165 meter जाएंगे तो 1 degree Celsius temperature down होगा. Stratosphere, the temperature remains constant initially and increases with height. The temperature जो है डिक्रीज करता है विद हाइट, दैट इज 1 डिग्री सेल्सियस डिक्रीज करता है. फिर 165 मीटर स्ट्रेटोस्फियर टेम्परेचर रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट इनिशियली, फिर इंक्रीज करता है विद हाइट, देन इंक्रीजेस. टेम्परेचर रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट इनिशियली, देन इंक्रीजेस विद हाइट. फ्री फ्रॉम क्लाउड्स एसोसिएटेड विद द फिनोमेना. फ्री फ्रॉम क्लाउड्स, इसमें फ्री फ्रॉम क्लाउड्स कंडीशंस आर आइडियल फॉर फ्लाइंग ऑफ जेट एयरक्राफ्ट यहाँ पर हमें देखने को मिलता है. ओजोन इन दिस लेयर में ऑब्जर्व हार्मफुल रेडिएशन फ्रॉम द सन. थर्मोस्फेयर दैट इज इट्स लोअर पार्ट इज कॉल्ड एज आइनोस्फेयर. थर्मोस्फेयर का जो लोअर पार्ट होता है दैट इज नोन एज द आइनोस्फेयर. लोअर पार्ट थर्मोस्फेयर का जो हमारा लोअर पार्ट होता है, लोअर पार्ट इज कॉल्ड एज आइनोस्फेयर. थर्मोस्फेयर का लोअर पार्ट इज नोन एज आइनोस्फेयर. इन द आइनोस्फेयर द टेम्परेचर राइजेस ड्रामेटिकली. इन द आइनोस्फेयर की बात करें, यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर राइज करता है ड्रामेटिकली, रीचिंग अप टू अप्रॉक्स 2500 डिग्री सेल्सियस. थर्मोस्फेयर का जो लोअर पार्ट होता है थर्मोस्फेयर का जो लोअर पार्ट होता है दैट इज आइनोस्फेयर. द टेम्परेचर राइजेस ड्रामेटिकली रीचिंग अप टू अप्रॉक्स 2500 डिग्री सेल्सियस. इंक्रीज इन टेम्परेचर इज ड्यू टू द फैक्ट दैट gas molecule present in the layer across the UV and X-rays of the sun. The increase in temperature is due to the fact that gas molecules present in the layer across the UV and X-rays of the sun. This results in the breakup of the gas molecules into electrically charged particles called ions. This results in the breakup of the gas molecules into electrically charged particles called ions. This particle receives the radio wave that is transmitted from the Earth's surface and then the radio wave sparked particles. In this way, these particles make possible wireless and long-distance communication. Okay. Ionosphere temperature rises from liquefaction up to plus 2500 degrees Celsius. Increase in temperature due to the particles compress rising in the air attract the UV and X-rays of the sun. This results in the breakup of the gas molecule into electrically charged particles called ions. These particles receive the radio waves that is transmitted from the Earth's surface and then reflect the radio waves back to the Earth's surface. In this way, these particles make possible wireless and long-distance communication. Long radio waves from D layer of ionosphere. जो long radio waves होती हैं they get reflected back from D layer of ionosphere. Long radio waves from D layer of ionosphere and short radio waves होती हैं from E1, E2, F1, F2 layers from D layer. Long radio waves from D layer. Long radio waves from D layer of ionosphere. Short radio waves from E1, E2, F1, F2 layers of ionosphere. Long radio waves from D layer of ionosphere and short radio waves from E1, E2, F1, F2 layers of ionosphere. Long radio waves from D layer of ionosphere. Short radio waves from E1, E2, F1, F2 layers of ionosphere. It is a combination of two breakers that is called house habitable dwelling place and locals to study. And this ecology is the study of the biosphere dwelling place of organism. It is the study of the biosphere or dwelling place of organism. Ecology is also called as bioecology, bioeconomics, and environmental biology. Ecology is also called as bioecology, bioeconomics, or environmental biology. Bioecology, bioeconomics, or environmental biology comprising economic and ecology. H. Ryder, Hans Stappen, who pointed out there is a controversy in American biology, CPR, and Newton is popular. Fundamentals of ecology, the word ecology was first proposed by Hans Stappen in 1869. Hans Stappen is known as the father of ecology, classical period. American biologist such as E.P. Odum. American biologist E.P. Odum wrote in his popular book. He wrote Fundamentals of Ecology, Fundamentals of Ecology, about ecology. Fundamentals of Ecology book 3. लिखा था the word ecology was first proposed by Hans Stappen. E.P. Odum wrote Fundamentals of Ecology, Fundamentals of Ecology. E.P. Odum wrote Fundamentals of Ecology. The word ecology was first proposed by Hans Stappen in 1869. Hans Stappen is known as the Hans Stappen is important as he is known as the father of ecology. Hans Stappen is known as the father of ecology, classical period, beginning of the 19th century. Some scholars consider Alexander von Humboldt as the father of ecology, classical period. Some scholars also consider Alexander von Humboldt as the father of ecology, classical period. E.P. Odum, father of modern ecology. E.P. Odum, he is known as father of modern ecology, that is modern period के father of modern ecology. Nandhi Mishra, father of Mishra is the father of Indian ecology. Hans Stappen is known as the father of ecology. Hans Stappen is known as the father of ecology, classical period. E.P. Odum is known as the father of modern ecology, modern period. Nandhi Mishra, father of Indian ecology. Fundamentals of ecology. Levels of ecological organization, ecological hierarchies and limits of ecological organization or ecological hierarchy. Total 7 levels of organism, population, community. Only people and place. Only people and place. Only people and place. Organism and population. Organism and population. Then community, then ecosystem. Landscape, biome, biosphere. Organism, population, community. 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 Then ecosystem. Landscape, biome, biosphere. Landscape, biome, and biosphere. These are biological and these are biological plus physical, that is ecosystem, landscape, biome, and biosphere or ecosystem. Organism and individual living being, whether a plant or animal, that is a rose, an elephant, etc. Viruses are not included in constituent parts of organism because they are incapable of autonomic metabolism for the reproduction. Viruses are not included in constituent particularly because they are incapable of autonomous metabolism for the reproduction. Similar organisms having the potential for interbreeding and producing fertile offspring constitute what we call as species. Having the potential for interbreeding. Organism जो कि similar organisms having the potential for interlinear producing fertile offspring constitute what we call a species. Species किसे बोलते हैं? Similar organisms having the potential for interbreeding and producing fertile offspring constitute what we call a species. Organisms with a population and community. A group of individual, example all individual of rows and all individual of elephant is known as population. Community and assemblage of all population, example all population of rows, all population of elephants, etc. In an area that is known as a community. Organism population community. Only prayer can enable a life beautiful and blissful. Only prayer can enable life beautiful and blissful. Organism population community. Ecosystem landscape. Ecosystem landscape, biome, and then biosphere reserve. Community and some of our population is a low population, general population, etc. in an area. Ecosystem, it is a fundamental functional unit of ecology. Ecosystem, what is ecosystem? It is a fundamental functional unit of ecology because it includes both biotic and abiotic environments. What is ecosystem? Ecosystem, it is a functional unit of ecology. Ecosystem is a functional unit of ecology because it includes both the biotic and abiotic environments. Ecosystem, it is a functional unit of ecology. Ecosystem, it is a functional unit of ecology because it includes both biotic and abiotic environment. Because it includes both the biotic and abiotic environments, forest, grassland, desert, marine, lake, river, pond, crop, field, park, spacecraft, swimming pool, aquarium, etc. This is one ecosystem. What is landscape? It is a kind of the heterogeneous area composed of a cluster of interacting ecosystem that are repeated in a similar manner throughout landscape. It is defined as a heterogeneous area. It is a heterogeneous area composed of cluster of interacting ecosystem. It is defined as a heterogeneous area. It is defined as a heterogeneous area composed of a cluster of interacting ecosystem that are repeated in a similar manner throughout. Example, watershed. What is landscape? It is defined as a heterogeneous area composed of a cluster of interacting ecosystem that are repeated in a similar manner throughout. Example, watershed. What is a landscape? It is defined as a heterogeneous area composed of a cluster of interacting ecosystem that are repeated in a similar manner throughout. Example, watershed. What is a landscape? It is designed as a heterogeneous area. It is defined as a heterogeneous area composed of a cluster of interacting ecosystem that are repeated in a similar manner throughout. Example, watershed. Biome, it is a large region unit characterized by a major what is a biome? Ecosystem and landscape. Then biome is large regional unit. It is a large regional unit characterized by a major vegetation type. A major vegetation type is an associated fauna in a specific climate zone. Example, terrestrial में equatorial evergreen forest biome होगा, tropical rainforest biome, equatorial evergreen forest biome, then tropical rainforest biome, then temperate deciduous forest, equatorial evergreen forest, tropical rainforest biome, temperate deciduous forest biome. B, aquatic में example marine, salty water, oceans with freshwater biomes, floating and lentic. Freshwater biomes की बात की जाए, freshwater biomes consist of lotic and lentic. Lotic running water होता है, lentic में standing water होता है, like lakes and ponds, running water, river, stream, wetlands and marshes भी होता है. Wetlands, marshes and swamp forests में beautiful and blissful branches of ecology. On the basis of levels of organization, horticology and syncology. Horticology and syncology. Horticology and syncology. It is a study of relationship of individual species to its environment. It is a study of relationship of individual species to its environment. Example, organism ecology. It is a study of relationship of individual species to its environment. It is a study of relationship of group of organisms and the environment. Study of relationship of individual species to its environment. Example, organism ecology. यहाँ पे individual species की बात हो रही है. Here we will talk about the group syncology. Ecology is the study of relationship of individual species to its environment. Syncology is the study of relationship of group of organisms and their environment on the basis of taxonomic affinities. एक होता है autoecology and Second is syncology, on the basis of taxonomic affinities, plant ecology and animal ecology, on the basis of levels of organization, Next is on the basis of habitat, terrestrial ecology and aquatic ecology, ecological factors and ecopractice, abiotic relationship between abiotic and biotic factors is known as holoconosis. Holoconosis relationship between the abiotic and biotic factor is called as holoconosis. It is known by the name of holoconosis. Relationship between abiotic and biotic factor is called as holoconosis. Relationship between the abiotic and the biotic factors is called as holoconosis. Relationship between the abiotic and the biotic factors is called as holoconosis. Relationship between the abiotic and the biotic factors is called as holoconosis. Relationship between abiotic and the biotic factor is called as holoconosis. Relationship between the abiotic and the biotic factor is known as holoconosis. Sign limits of wide spectrum of light, only long waves represent a portion of visible light and short waves fully are important ecologically. Only long waves में infrared portion of visible light and short waves में UV are important ecologically. UV is both beneficial plus harmful. Vitamin D is synthesized in the skin and hair under the influence of UV light. Vitamin D is synthesized in the skin and hair under the influence of UV light. Too much exposure to UV rays can lead to skin cancer, including melanoma. Plants are divided into 3 types on the basis of photoperiod. Total length of the daily period for which plants are exposed. Long day, example, wheat, barley, oat, grain, etc. Short day, because long day में आएंगे wheat, barley, oats, wheat, barley, etc. Short day में rice आएंगे, soybean, cotton, sorghum, ज्वार, etc. They are for example rice, tomato, chili, tobacco. Plants are divided into 2 types on the basis of sunlight. First is photophyllous or heliophilous. On the basis of sunlight, plants on the basis of sunlight, पहले होता है photophyllous और heliophilous. Sunlight loving होते हैं photophyllous और heliophilous. Sunlight loving example birch, cactus, sugarcane, maize, etc. Photophyllous और heliophilous. Sunlight loving birch, cactus, sugarcane, maize, etc. Second is sciurophilous or heliophobous. Heliophobous that is shade loving or sun-fearing, example fern. Several herbaceous plants. Total degree of heat received by the plant is called the thermoperiod. Total degree of heat received by the plant is called its thermoperiod. It is known by the name of its thermoperiod. Total degree of heat received by the plant is called as its thermoperiod on the basis of temperature. Edaphic is equal to soil. Four categories on the basis of temperature: megatherms, mesotherms, microtherms and hectotherms. Megatherms, mesotherms, microtherms and hectotherms. Megatherms 25 to 45 degrees Celsius. These are the tropical areas. 25 to 45 degrees Celsius. These are tropical evergreen forest, desert, grassland, rainforest. Mesotherms 10 to 25 degrees Celsius. 10 to 25 degrees Celsius. These are subtropical temperate. These are the subtropical temperate deciduous forest. Microtherms, tiny coniferous forest, and hectotherms. These are light and more small shrubs, etc. Hectotherms, microtherms, coniferous forest. On the basis of speed, winds are classified as breeze, gale, storm and hurricane. Breeze 5 to 50 km, gale 50 to 100 km, storm 100 to 120 km. Breeze, gale, storm and hurricane. Relationship, symbiosis that is living together, both benefit each other. Elegant fungus, lichen for example of the symbiosis that living together, lichen for example of the both benefit each other. Parasitism, relationship between two organisms in which one benefit at the expense of the other. One benefit at the expense of the other, example bacteria, virus, cuckoo, etc. One benefit at the expense of others. This is known as parasitism. Second is commensalism, dissociation between two organisms in which one benefit and the other derives neither benefit nor harm. An association between two organisms in which one benefits, जिसमें एक benefit होता है और other derives neither benefit nor harm. This is known as commensalism. And there is one commensalism जिसमें एक benefit होता है and the other सॉरी वन एक को हार्म होता है एंड द अदर इज नीदर बेनिफिट नॉट हार्म. Remora and shark. Remora hides under the shark, feeds the leftovers of the whole shark, meals commensalism, one benefit and the other bears neither benefit nor harm. This is known by the name of commensalism. Predation. Where one organism, the predator kills and eats another organism, the prey by one organism, the predator kills and eats another organism. Grass. This is the prey, grasshopper is predator. When one organism, the predator kills and eats another organism, the prey, grasshopper predator, small fish prey, large fish predator. Saprophytism, sapro to decompose, bacteria, fungi and mushroom. Deep ecology was coined by Arnius Naes. Deep ecology term is coined by Arnius Naes in 1974. It is related to that. It is related to environmentalism, that is a concept that leads radical measures to protect the natural environment, irrespective of the effect on human welfare. It is ecocentric philosophy. This is ecocentric philosophy which considers human as equal to other organisms. The reverse philosophy of deep ecology is shallow ecology. अगर reverse philosophy की बात करें, that is known by the name of shallow ecology. It is anthropocentric, that is human centric. Ecosophy introduced by Arnius Naes. Again, ecosophy, it is introduced by Arnius Naes. It is a philosophy of ecological harmony. Ecological harmony or equilibrium in the global natural ecosystem और environmental system. So ecosophy deep ecology से मिलता जुलता टर्म है. सेम है हम लोग environment से हार्मनी और इक्विलिब्रियम बचाने के लिए ग्लोबल इकोसिस्टम और environmental system के साथ रहेंगे. Next is ecodon or boundary or transition area. What is ecodon? It is a transition area between communities or biomes. Example, HD area between threshold and cellular footprint. It is a method to measure the amount of natural capital. It is expresses a minimum area of land required to completely sustain the life of a person is called as ecological footprint. It is expressed as the minimum area of land required to completely sustain the life of a person. It is measured in global hectare. जो footprint होता है footprint, it is measured in global hectare, that is GHG unities. Ecological footprint is more than 1.5%, that will require 50% more. Niche by Joseph Grenner in 1917. Niche by Joseph Grenner. Niche is a term which is coined by Joseph Grenner in 1917. Niche meaning nest, it means a place of organisms within its ecosystem or community. An ecosystem consists of a number of overlapping and interacting niches. A niche is unique for species, that means not all species can have exact identical niches. Each species makes or arranges its own distinct nest. Overshoot, it means pass swiftly. It means pass swiftly beyond a cross-element layer, consuming resources faster than they can reach and creating waste faster than it can be absorbed. This is called as ecological overshoot. Means pass swiftly. Seri, it means dry or wither the entire sequence of communities that successfully leave the particular area. The entire sequence of communities that successfully change in a particular area. The entire sequence of communities that successfully change in a particular area is called as seri. The entire sequence of communities that successfully change in a particular area is called as seri. Succession is successive replacement of communities in an area over a period of time is called ecological succession. The particle and data component are involved in such changes. According to Frederick Lehman, process of ecological succession are what are the processes of ecological succession are: first is nudation, second is invasion migration, SSS, then competition and reaction and sterilization. Nudation, invasion, migration, invasion/migration, cases, competition, reaction and stabilization. Nudation, invasion, migration, cases, competition, then competition is about our reaction and stabilization. Competition, reaction and then sterilization. Two types, primary and secondary. Primary succession occurring on previously unoccupied site. What is primary succession? Primary succession, it occurs on previously unoccupied site. It occurs on previously जो हमारी unoccupied sites होती हैं. Example previously unoccupied sites. It occurs on previously unoccupied sites, example rock outcrop, glacial, marine, etc. Previously unoccupied sites. Next is secondary succession, the reappearance and establishment of communities in the area where once ecological community existed. The reappearance and establishment of communities in the area where once ecological community existed but destroyed due to some reason. Reappearance of forest community in the place of fire, destroyed forest community. Second succession starts with the growth of grasses in which next more plants begin to grow, and thereafter the sequence is similar to that of primary succession. Nudation, migration. First is nudation, invasion, migration, excessive competition, reaction, sterilization. Primary succession and secondary succession. Transition first introduced by American anthropologist. Transition is a term which is introduced by John W. Bennett in 1976. 1917 Minnesota by Joseph Grenville. Transition first introduced by American anthropologist John W. Bennett in 1976. Extension of biosphere according to Joy Daly, the organic world of biosphere is part of that contains living organisms, biological inhabited soil, air, and water. Every surface of the biosphere lies operating layers of 60 km. 9 km water, 9 km land, and 12 km air. Joy Tivy, the organic world or the biosphere is that part of that contains living organisms are biologically inhabited soil and water. Spores of bacteria and fungi are found to be greater beyond 800 meters, but they are not metabolically active, so they reveal dominant and presence of bacteria up to the height of 15 km in the atmosphere. Ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? It is a plant and animal other names together with the physical environment with which they interact constitute the ecological system and ecosystem. It was coined by Arthur Tansley. Ecosystem term. Ecosystem is termed by Arthur Tansley. Arthur Tansley in 1935. It was coined by Arthur Tansley. It was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. What is ecosystem? It was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. Ecosystem was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. Arthur Tansley. Ecosystem was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. System was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. Ecosystem was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. Types of ecosystem. Types of ecosystem: natural, non-cultivated, artificial, cultivated. Human activities may modify or convert natural ecosystem into anthropogenic or man-made ecosystem to optimal parks, places, and natural aquarium. Components of ecosystem: abiotic, non-living, biotic, living. Abiotic may inorganic may water, oxygen, CO2, mineral like phosphate, nitrogen, etc. Organic, carbohydrate, protein, vitamins, climate, light, temperature, rainfall. Inorganic होते हैं, organic होते हैं, climate होता है, light, temperature, rainfall. The amount of a biotic component that is present at a particular time in the given area is known as standing state. The amount of abiotic component that is present at a particular time in a given area is known as a standing state. The amount of abiotic component that is present at a particular time. The amount of a biotic component that is present at a particular time in a given area is known as its standing state. Biotic produces autotrophic, consumes autotrophic or phagotrophs. Producers को autotrophs बोलते हैं, consumers को लोग heterotrophs बोलते हैं, heterotrophs, और they are also known by the name of phagotrophs. Consumers जो होते हैं, consumers उनको heterotrophs बोलते हैं, फिर phagotrophs बोलते हैं. Consumers, primary consumer. Primary consumer, herbivore. Secondary consumer, carnivore or omnivore. Tertiary consumer, top or secondary carnivore, tiger, lion. Quaternary consumer or decomposer और माइक्रो कंज्यूमर. जो हमारे quaternary consumers होते हैं उनको decomposers भी बोलते हैं. माइक्रो कंज्यूमर या फिर saprotrophs और detritus feeders और detrivores. Quaternary consumer, decomposers, micro consumers. Quaternary consumers और decomposers बोलते हैं. Micro consumers, saprotrophs, detritus feeders और detrivores. Ecological classification of plants. Classification of plants. Eugenous warming classified plants into 5 classes. Eugenous classification in warming classified plants into 5 parts. पहले होते हैं हाइड्रोफाइट्स. The first one are hydrophytes. The first one are hydrophytes. Water में रहते हैं. Mesophytes metal, xerophytes physiologically dry plant and soil. Physiologically dry plant and soil. Next is functionally dry plant and soil. Some specialized plants: epiphyte, eremophyte, helophyte and helophyte, and then lithophyte, sclerophyte, psammophyte. Epiphyte air plant that grow upon another plant but not abundant enough for food with merely for physical support. Plant that grow upon another plant that grow upon another plant. Epiphyte air plant होते हैं. Who are epiphyte? These are the air plant. Some specialized plants: epiphyte air plants that grow upon another plant but not dependent on them for food, but merely for the physical support. Plant that grow upon another plant merely for physical support. Eremophyte, that means desert. Eremo का मतलब होता है desert. Epiphyte, that is air plant. Eremophyte, that is desert plant. Plants that grow in desert or steppe. Example: cactus or cagri. Desert plants होते हैं. Example: cactus or cagri. Helophyte is related to some trees or plants that grow in soil or water of high salinity. Plant that grow in soil or water of high salinity. Example: mangrove. Helophyte, that is marsh. Plants that grows in marsh. Example: American lotus. Helophyte, lithophyte, stone. Plants that grows in stone. Lithophyte that grows in stone, that grows on stone rock. Example: lichen. Sclerophyte, sclero मतलब hardened होता है. Plant that grows as woody shrub plant. Example: rose, lemon, etc. Plants that grows as woody shrub plant. Example: rose, lemon, etc. Psammophyte, मतलब होता है sand. It is related to sand. Plant that grows an example: cactus, kiwi, etc. Food chain: simple food chain and then complex food chain. Simple food chain and then comes the complex food chain. Deep sea and ocean is the place of photosynthesis. What process called chemosynthesis takes place here. Specialized bacteria convert some compound from the surrounding into more complex compound without sunlight. They use instead different source of energy. Deep in the earth's surface, heat is generated by the decay of radioactive elements. This heat released hot water ends in the ocean. Then the bacteria use this geothermal energy for chemosynthesis. Deep in the earth's surface, heat is generated by the decay of radioactive elements. This heat is released at output events in the ocean depth. The bacteria use this geothermal energy for chemosynthesis. In the food chain, diatom is eaten by crustacean, eaten by herring, is eaten by grass, rabbit, fox. Diatom, crustacean and then herring. Diatom, crustacean and then herring. Diatom, crustacean and herring. Grass, rabbit and fox. Diatom, crustacean and herring. Diatom, crustacean and herring, then comes the grass, rabbit and then the fox. Ecological pyramid trophic feeding level. Ecological parameter trophic, that is feeding level. First is the producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. Producer, plant and the bacteria. Grass, trees, phytoplankton. Primary consumer, herbivore, plant, tertiary plankton. Secondary consumer, primary carnivore, birds, fishes, wolf, etc. Tertiary consumer, top carnivore, man, lion, etc. First, second, third, fourth. Usable energy 1000 and the timing 1. Quaternary consumer or decomposers feed to all leaves. Feed at all levels, but bacteria can be terminate मेगाड quaternary consumer और decomposers feed at all level. ये जो भी हमारे quaternary consumer होते हैं ना, they feed at all level. Bacteria, fungi, termite, maggot, etc. Ecological efficiency, the percentage of energy transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. The 10% law of transfer of energy was introduced by the 10% law. It was introduced by Raymond Landman in 1942. It was introduced by Raymond Landman. The percentage, what is ecological efficiency? It is percentage of energy transferred from one trophic level to the another trophic level. Ecological efficiency, the percentage of energy transferred from one trophic level to the another trophic level. What is ecological efficiency? That is the percentage of energy transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. In terrestrial ecosystem, only 10% of plant material is retained by habitable. This means 100 kg of grain is needed to produce 10 kg of meat. Only 10% of energy is transferred from one trophic level to another. Biogeochemistry, branch of science founded by geochemists and mineralogists, Vladimir Ivanovich Vernadsky. Biogeochemistry. branch of science founded by geochemists and biogeochemistry. Biogeochemistry, Vladimir Ivanovich Bernardska. Levels of biodiversity. The term biodiversity was first coined by Walter G. Rosen. The term biodiversity, coined by Walter G. Rosen in 1985, but the term is populated by Edward Osborne Wilson. Father of biodiversity. He is known as the father of biodiversity. Edward Osborne Wilson. He is known as father of biodiversity. Important article of biodiversity. Genetic diversity is of genes within species. Species diversity refers to the variety of species within a region. Community and ecosystem diversity. According to Whittaker, diversity at a level of community and ecosystem is perspective, alpha diversity, beta diversity, and gamma diversity. Genetic diversity, species diversity refers to the variety of species within a region, and community and ecosystem diversity. According to Whittaker 1972, diversity at all level of community and ecosystem has three perspective होता है. एक होता है अल्फा डाइवर्सिटी, सेकेंड इज बीटा डाइवर्सिटी, एंड थर्ड इज द गामा डाइवर्सिटी. Diversity within the community. Diversity of organisms within community. It refers to the diversity of organisms sharing the same community or the habitat. क्योंकि same community को share कर रहे हैं. Beta diversity of organisms between communities, that is an ecosystem. Alpha diversity of organisms within the community. Diversity refers to the diversity of organisms sharing the same community or the habitat. अगर हम सेम कम्युनिटी या फिर हैबिटेट को शेयर कर रहे हैं तो अल्फा डाइवर्सिटी है. डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म बिटवीन कम्युनिटीज. ecosystem diversity of habitat over the total landscape or biome within the community between the two different communities, and gamma diversity over the total landscape or biome. The word conservation union, that is WCA, formerly is called. Now it is IUCN. Formerly it was named as World Conservation Union. World Conservation Union, which is formerly known as the IUCN. World Conservation Union, which is formerly known as World Conservation Union, which is formerly known as IUCN. World Conservation Union, which is formerly known as IUCN, global places the global species diversity at about 7 million.